It feels good to be up here, doesn't it, Frank?
Yeah, it feels pretty good, Jeff. It feels pretty good.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone is doing well today. I know we find it very difficult to leave our offices and our work behind for a couple of hours this afternoon to come to a 5-star hotel by the sea. It's very difficult, so thank you very much for being with us here today. Welcome to Google's biggest event of 2017.
Thank you. Round of applause. Good afternoon, everyone. We are very, very excited to be here, and I'm sure many of you here are as well. Quick introduction. My name is Frank Chin. I'm from Google. And right here on the stage with me is this very handsome fellow, Jeff Su, as well, and he's also from Google. And both of us are very excited to be here. And for the later half of this afternoon, the two of us will be your hosts.
Now, some of you may be wondering already why it's Frank and myself emceeing up here today, right? Instead of someone more famous.
Even more famous.
Right, even more famous.
Of course.
Or instead of someone better looking.
Even more better looking.
Right, even better looking than us. That's right, that's right, that's right. I mean, after all, this is Google's biggest event of this year.
I'll take that one, Jeff. The answer is quite simple. It's because we're loud. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to startle anyone. But more importantly, actually, we're energetic as well. But the main point is actually because we're both very passionate about Google's commitment to further digitize Hong Kong in both the lifestyle as well as the business environment areas.
Exactly. Many of us sitting here today, myself included, was born and raised in Hong Kong. All of us are currently working here. So who wouldn't want to see a Hong Kong become a smarter city for us to work and live in?
That's right, Jeff. Now, to carry on that momentum, here at Google, we've come up with this event that we're all in now, Think 2020. What can we collectively do together? What insights can we share so that we can all transform our businesses, innovate the economy, and most importantly, how can we cultivate the talent here in Hong Kong locally before the year 2020?
And to answer that question, Frank, we have an exciting lineup for you all here today. A lineup that is going to share a vision of partnering with every single one of us in this room to transform Hong Kong into a more digital city.
That's correct, Jeff. And right now, for the later half this afternoon, we're going to have one of two types of sessions. We will have speakers. We will also have panel discussions. We will be inviting local industry leaders here to share with us within their respective industries what they're currently doing to digitize Hong Kong. In addition to that, we will also have clients as well to share with us how Google was part of this digital transformation story here in Hong Kong.
Yes, we're obviously excited for this event, right?
For sure.
And I could just tell you guys are as well. So without further ado, we're going to have our very own Managing Director of Google Hong Kong come up and share with us just how Google's commitment to this city is going to transform businesses, innovate the economy ecosystem, and cultivate talent. Fun fact about her, actually, she's a self-proclaimed queen of selfies here in Hong Kong. I'm not exactly sure that's a thing, Leonie, but I'm not trying to be the one to tell her that. No. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Leonie Valentine, everybody.
Round of applause. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Leonie, for that opening speech. As we all know, that really sets the tone for why it is that we are here today. As you all have known, both from the consumer's perspective, we all know there is indeed this gap between how tech-savvy we are and whether we actually are. And of course, again, from a corporate perspective, how much they want to go and embrace technology, and then the reality of how much they actually are embracing technology as well. And finally, and also most importantly, policymakers as well, how it's very important that we have an environment here that fosters this potential to grow with transforming the businesses digitally, accelerating the economy with innovation, and of course, cultivating talent here in Hong Kong.
Exactly, Frank. And again, as someone who was born and raised here in Hong Kong, I'm personally very excited to see how Google is going to turn those commitments into a reality. Now, on to our very first topic of today's session, something that is embedded in a lot of Google's products, machine learning.
And on that note, what we're going to do is shortly, I will be inviting a gentleman up here who has a wealth of knowledge and experience on both Google products as well as, of course, Google Developer Tool apps as well. This is an individual who works very, very closely with our Google consumer hardware team. So what does that actually mean? For the folks of you who are very familiar with Chrome and Android and some of our other 1 billion user products, this is the gentleman that's actually leading that team. And one interesting fact as well is this is also a Googler who is not a stranger to the stage, because this gentleman was actually one of the early pioneers of what we all are very familiar with is the Google I/O annual conferences. He actually was also the one who spoke in some of these as well. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in putting your hands together, and we will welcome Mr. Andrew Bowers from Google as our Director of Product Management.
Thank you, Andrew, for shedding some light on this incredibly complex yet important topic matter. And more importantly, probably explaining ways that we don't actually understand, right?
Probably not.
So for the average consumer out there, if you ever used Google Photos, Google Translation, and perhaps Google Assistant on your Android phones, you've seen the true power, that true potential of machine learning. And if you use one of the other phones out there, hang on, it'll get there sometime, maybe. We'll see.
Okay, easy now, Jeff. There are still some who have yet to convert to Android, but that's okay. So on that note, we've just heard from Google's vision on how we want to further digitize. We've also then just heard the power of machine learning and the actual new frontier. But what we like to actually do now is bring that energy and kind of segue into perhaps a more marketer's perspective on what does that all really mean? What can we do with that vision, with all that data from machine learning?
Yes, and to help us do that, we here have Simon Khan. He's been with Google for the past 6 years and was an early champion of the Internet of Things and machine learning concepts. He's currently the Chief Marketing Officer of Google APAC, and he's going to come on and share with us today how we as marketers can leverage these innovative new technologies. Ladies and gentlemen, Simon Khan.
Simon Khan. Wow. I don't know about you guys, but I greatly enjoyed that session. That was quite a lot. So thank you, Simon, for that. As we all know, definitely something to look forward to within what our planning, regardless of what roles that we play as a marketer or as a sales account manager like myself. Key point, of course, sharper focus among our consumers, how we can actually connect with them. Remember that McNow ad where we can get 25,000 ads? That sounds like something that we can definitely do. Assistive experiences to further elaborate on that focus that we had and pinpoint different customer segments and measure their behaviors and what we can do with it. And of course, lastly, and most importantly, deep engagement so that we can engage and have that sort of emotional connection with the actual end users so that they can continue and resonate with it, such as BMW as well.
Okay, wow, Frank, that was a very comprehensive summary. You're clearly paying attention. I was as well. I remember. Of course. It was marketing, machine learning, that Japanese game show. I totally got it. I got you. That was the main stuff. Look, okay, come on. We just had 3 different speakers on 3 very different topics. It's honestly a lot to take in.
Of course.
So do you think we can switch it up a little bit here?
Yeah, we should definitely switch it up. And just as you all may have noticed the commotion happening behind us, we would like to now actually move on into a new part of the session. We will be beginning the first of 2 panel discussions up here. So that means we're going to be inviting not one, but a couple of noteworthy individuals up here from various different industries to share with us on what they're planning on doing to further digitize Hong Kong here before the year 2020.
Yes. And to help us do that, we have Lars Bratsberg, our own agency industry leader. He brings to Hong Kong his extensive experiences in marketing and working with digital agencies all the way from Europe. Lars, if you wouldn't mind walking us through the partner panel discussion, please. Please welcome Lars Bratsberg.
All right, thank you once again, Mr. Lars Bratwurst. And of course, thank you to Derek, Kinney, Michelle, and Wally as well for those fruitful conversations on, as Lars said, new model. Lean in together on how we can coexist together with all our partners so that we can achieve rules of engagement that allow everyone to win and succeed and move forward in the digitization of Hong Kong.
Yes, definitely. We've heard a lot from Google today and our partners as well. Well, to be honest, we heard a lot from me and Frank as well, but we just love talking, can't really help that. Leonie actually leveraged that fact to make us do this for free. Leverage, it's a tricky thing. Anyways, I think it would be useful right now to actually hear a little bit about what different industries are doing here in Hong Kong. Or better yet, actually, how a specific company is currently adopting a digital business model here in Hong Kong.
Great point, Jeff. So what I'm about to do right now is I'm actually going to be inviting up one of our individual clients up here. It's one of the most prominent insurance providers here in Hong Kong, AXA. And from AXA, we have an individual who's actually a member of their executive committee who works closely with the strategic developments of partnerships, marketing, digital, and innovations to meet the future needs of their actual customers. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to now please join our hands together and please welcome Mr. Frederick Tardy, our Chief Marketing, Digital, Data, and Customer Officer, to share a little bit about AXA's Asia's ambition on becoming the most customer-centric insurer in Hong Kong. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Frederick Tardy.
Thank you, Leonie, for moderating. Thank you, Eric Nakfa, Eric Chung, Suresh, and Dorcas for that extremely insightful discussion. So I think there's some key learnings here, right? No matter, be it focusing on that customer journey and having Hong Kongers adopt a smart finance P2P system, to those comments on having the tide rise, lifting everyone with it, and finally, to having maybe a conflict between Google's data white paper and personal experiences, I think that's something that just goes to show there's so much we can do, right? And I find it highly optimistic that these 4 companies from such different backgrounds and industries, are working towards that common goal through digitization.
My turn to hand it back to you, Jeff. That was comprehensive enough. Now, as we all know, even that was unexpected myself too. So as we all know, we've heard from Google's vision so far. We've heard about machine learning, what we can do with that data. We've then, of course, heard already from 2 panel discussions with the partners and customers alike on what they can do, some of the disruptions that they're working with. But right now, I believe we're just missing that one last but yet very final and important component out there. Any ideas on what that could possibly be?
I think I know this.
Drinks, not quite yet. Oh, yes. But Jeff, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's YouTube likes because it's fun.
Unfortunately, no. I think you're in the wrong room for YouTube, which is over there. But that's okay. If the answer is actually creatives. So right now, actually, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce this other gentleman who's actually part of Google's own creative think tank called the Google Zoo. That's right. I said Google Zoo. Not animals, but the Google Zoo. I'm sure this name is going to stick after this presentation. But please join me, ladies and gentlemen, and let's welcome Eddie Azadi, our Executive Creative Director from Google Zoo.
Wow. All right, so drinks? Drinks, yeah, no. Thank you, Eddie, for that inspirational speech and that man crunch comment in the end. We really appreciate that. It's reciprocated, of course, of course. I honestly never personally thought about that connection between technology and creatives, you know. In the past, I always thought about it very, very one-dimensionally, so that's definitely something I learned new today.
Great point, and I'm sure everyone's a little bit anxious. You know, we've been here for a bit over 2 hours, but just, I promise, since we're already getting pretty good at summarizing in a slightly humorous way, how about, I promise, the last one, and perhaps, Jeff, you want to do the honors on just reflecting ourselves. What just happened in 2.5 hours?
All right, I'm not sure if I can do the topics justice, but I'm going to try, okay? So for the first half of today's session, we heard and learned a lot about how digital innovation is continuously shaping both our lifestyle and the business aspects here in Hong Kong, right?
That's right.
And towards the second half of today's event, we heard from clients and partners alike on how they too are accelerating that growth, that process. And finally, how can we forget how creatives bring everyone together? Sound about right?
How about a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Jeff Su, summarizing the whole event. And with that, everyone, we would like to, on behalf of Google and everyone, express our utmost thank you for your time, your attention, and of course, your participation as well with this event. So it would be pretty good that we could maybe segue into drinks. What do you think, Jeff?
Yes, I'll definitely be behind you for those drinks. One quick thing though, everybody. Please do not forget to check out the experience zones behind you. We spent a lot of time on this. It's really fun. Collect those Lego pieces, all right? And more importantly, take pictures, take selfies. You guys all look really good today. Take advantage of that, all right? Share it on Instagram, share it on everywhere you want. Google+, that big, important social network everyone's talking about. You know, that one? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Oh, what's going on here?
Oh, there we go. Okay, cool.
How about a selfie,
right,
everybody?
Selfie.
Hands up.
Yeah. It's the selfie queen,
We got 3
apparently.
seconds, right?
3, 2, 1. All right,
I don't
wonderful.
think
All right.
those guys in. Hold on, one more.
Oh, one more for
Okay.
this side, please.
Right, that side.
3, 2.
And then I
All
think
right,
these
all
ones
right.
will see it. Just one last one. I know I said it.
Selfie queen, right, ladies and gentlemen? Selfie queen.
I wouldn't storm the stage, but I've changed
All
my mind.
all right then.
Oh, hold on, one more.
All right.
Right, we got it?
Yes.
Everyone, cheese on that side.
3, 2.
Thank you.
All right, wonderful. So one final thing, I promise. So as everyone's enjoying the experience those behind you, do not forget, I did say drinks, drinks, drinks. And of course, light refreshments as well. So those will be outside by the corridor. But just before we begin as well, just a kind reminder, I know you've been sitting for a while, so definitely get up, mingle. But if everyone can pull out their watches right now, and in approximately an hour and 20 minutes time, I do want to encourage everyone to come back to this hall because we will be having, for the very first time ever, the live broadcast of Hong Kong's YouTube Fan Fest. Yes, that's correct. So if you've got that burning desire to meet some of those Hong Kong YouTubers, I'm telling you, tonight is the night because they're just on that hall and they will come around and you will be able to see them as well. And of course, if you haven't unfortunately sat on a beautifully handcrafted form and a pen, yes, that's right, Google, we indeed left a form and a pen by your seat. Please, oh, yes, that's right. Thank you, Jeff. Very resourceful. Please do us a very, very big favor. Fill out this lovely form, and as you exit, there will be a box as well as ushers and personnel as well that will collect them upon your exit. All right? And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Shoei.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you.
We don't talk anymore.